Good afternoon, my name is William Atair, and today we'll be going over a brief demonstration of chemical bonding in 3 minutes. Firstly, we'll start off with ionic bonding. Ionic bonding is the transfer of electrons from one atom to another. This is normally formed between a metal and a non-metal because metals give off electrons while non-metals receive said electrons. An example of this would be sodium chloride. Sodium gives off one electron while chlorine receives one, thus making sodium a positive ion and chlorine a negative ion. Here we have a few more examples. The first one is sodium sulfide. Sodium is giving off their electrons to sulfur, which makes the two sodium atoms positive and making the sulfur atom negative by 2 because it gains 2 electrons. And on the bottom, you'll see barium chloride, in which barium is giving off its electrons to 2 chlorine atoms, which makes the chlorine atoms negative because they each gain 1, and barium positive by 2 because it loses 2 electrons. Next, we'll move on to metallic bonding. Metallic bonding is basically the attraction of free-floating valence electrons, which we'll get into later, for the positively charged metal ions. As we referred to earlier, positive ions are surrounded by a sea of electrons. A few properties that metals have are that they only consist of metal ions. The bonds need lots of heat to overcome, which means they're good conductors of heat, and free-floating electrons are the reason why they can conduct electricity well as being malleable, which is being able to hammer into sheets, and ductile, which is being able to make into wires. Next is covalent bonding, which is the sharing of electrons between atoms. There are 3 types of covalent bonding: single, double, and triple bonding. Single bonding is the sharing of 1 pair of electrons between atoms, or 2 electrons between atoms. Double bonding, which is 2 pairs of electrons, or 4 electrons total, and 3 pairs of electrons, or 6 electrons in total. Here are a few examples of the different types of covalent bonding. As you can see with the single bond, you have the 1 pair between the 2 atoms. With the double bonds, you can see the 2 pairs between each atom on both sides, and then the triple bond in the middle, where you can see the 3 pairs. Next up, we have valence electrons. Well, valence electrons are the electrons in the outermost shell of an atom. An example would be aluminum, which has 3 valence electrons on its outermost shell. How are valence electrons related to each type of bond? Well, since all elements want to have a full outer shell, which consists of 8 electrons, electrons are shared to form a molecule, or electrons are given or taken, making elements ions in the process. As you can see the examples, either you have an accumulation of 8 through an atom giving 1 away, or the sharing of 2 making both of them 8. And finally, we have how periodic trends affect bonding. The amount of electronegative energy an element has affects the structure of the compound. For an example, we have hydrogen peroxide. Oxygen is in the middle because it is less electronegative or more electropositive than hydrogen. That's 3 minutes. Thank you for watching, and until next time.